Okay, so we're going to do the work together on page 7 or 186, 7-1. And we're going to prepare a partial, using the partial worksheet, we're going to prepare an income statement for the month ended July 31st of the current year. And we're going to calculate and record the component percentages for total, and the total, calculate the component percentages and calculate the component percentages for each expense item, total expenses, and net income. And we're going to round these items to the nearest 10th percent. Okay. So, we know that our company's name is Darlene's Delivery Service. So, we're going to start out by creating our heading right here. Darlene's Delivery Service. And we center our heading. Okay. And then we know that we're preparing an income statement. And our second line is the title, and we center that as well. And then we know that we're dealing with the month ended, so we put for the month ended July 31st, 2016.
You don't have to write it out. You don't have to write it July.
Nah, you could put the date like that. That's fine. Okay. Then we're going to use the information from the worksheet. This is an excerpt from the worksheet here, the columns of the worksheet, the income statement columns of the worksheet, and we have our individual accounts for sales and our expenses. And we're going to put that all into income statement format. So we start out with putting our title for our revenues. Make sure you go to the right line. Okay, so revenues. And per our income statement columns, we only have one category of sales for this business. So we slightly indent that and we put sales. And since we only have one, we're going to put it out here. We're going to call this the totals column. You don't have to put this on your actual financial statements, but you can write it on your work together so you know. Okay? So we're going to put our total for our sales. And our sales is $5,511. Where did I get that from? I got it from my worksheet, my sales. We don't have any other items for revenues, so we don't have to put a total, and we can move right into our expenses. So we put the title for expenses on the left margin, and then we could just list all of the categories of expenses. So in this particular case, we have advertising expense, insurance expense, miscellaneous expense, supplies expense, and that's it, correct? No other expenses up here. Now, all of these expenses do have dollar amounts in them. If there was 0 in one of these, would we still list it down here? What do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Because you might have it in another period. Okay. And then we put our total. Oops, total expenses. And then we put whether we're going to have a net income or a loss. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
In the notes, they indented total expenses. Should we indent it or not?
Yes, that's my bad. Thank you. Okay. And then we put our individual expenses, which we get from above, up here. So we start out our advertising expense, goes in the detail category, $821. Our insurance expense from up here, $300. Our miscellaneous expense, $347. Our supplies expense, $713. Then what do we need to do?
Add them up.
Right, so we're going to single rule to show that we're doing a calculation, and then we would add them up. When we add them up, we should get the total of $2,181. And then what? And this number should match what? This number should match what? Come on, guys. Where am I getting all this information from?
Your worksheet.
Good. Excellent, Kira. It's going to come from and match this number here in the worksheet. So just like your total of your sales should match to the total in your worksheet or in your income statement column, the total of your expenses should match the debit column in the income statement columns of the worksheet. And then we put a single rule here to show that we're going to be doing the mathematical calculation, and we subtract our expenses from our sales. And we should get, in this particular case, we should get the total of $3,330. And if we did this subtraction here, and it matched what's in our worksheet, net income or loss, then we would double rule. Okay. And now we can calculate the component percentages. So how am I going to calculate my component percentage of sales?
100%.
It's going to be 100%. So it's going to be the 5,511 divided by 5,511 times 100. So it's 100%. If I had two categories of sales, I would do each category divided by the total to get how much each category represented of the total sales. For this now, I'm going to take the 821 and divide it by total sales, 5,511, and multiply it by 100. So that's going to be 821 divided by 5,511. Oops. And I should get 14.9%. 14.9.
These are divided by your sales,
Yup.
not your total expense.
No. What are we trying to figure out? We're trying to figure out how much each one of those expenses represents of our sales. Okay, we want to know how much it represents of our sales. So we take the 300 and divide that by 5,511, multiply it by 100, and we get,
5.4.
good, 5.4. And we do the same with miscellaneous, 347 divided by 5,500, multiplied by 100, we get,
6.3.
good.
Oh.
And then 713 divided by 5,511 times 100.
13.9 or 12.9.
12.9. And then we do the same thing with our total expenses. Oops, 2,181 divided by 5,511 times 100.
39.6.
Okay.
Wait, we didn't guess numbers?
Okay, now, here's another cross-check for you guys. Remember I told you there's always ways you could check things in accounting? Por favor, por favor. Okay, so a cross-check for you is that these added up should equal this. So if you add each of these component percentages up, because this is the total of these items, the total of the percentages of them should equal that, okay, the total. So if I took 14.9 and I added 5.4 and 6.3 and 12.9, I should get the 39.5. Okay. Now, 3330 divided by 5511 times 100 is 60.4. Or round it up to 60.5. Okay. What should also happen here is that, again, because we're dealing with totals, if we subtracted 5511, if we subtracted 2181 from 5511 and we got 3330, then the difference between the 39.5 and 100 should equal our 60.5. So again, there's your check. Okay, so always in accounting there's ways to check. Okay, so you've done it right if the difference between the two component percentages is equal to the total of the percentage when you actually calculate the percentage. Okay, so we know we've done it right. So we're good to go. Okie dokie. And that's all there is to preparing an income statement.